next up we got Vina, and I'm gonna go ahead and promote Vina to co-host. Oops, I don't know what I just did. Oh no, I did something. Clicked the wrong button. Sorry, everybody. Vina, I just promoted you back to panelist, and I'm making you a co-host now, Vina. There we go.
Hello. Can you guys hear me? I can't hear you. I'm not sure what is going on. Do you know how? Oh, ask to mute. Oh, wait. Hello.
Hi, Vina.
Hey, Jel.
Hi. Looks like Zach froze. So I'll be taking over in the meantime. His internet's a little bit choppy at the moment. We're so happy to have you here at the DIY Fest 2024. Thanks for doing another event with us. You were here last year as well, and a lot of our audience enjoyed it. And yeah, when you're ready, you can take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Jel. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
I will be sharing my screen, so hopefully I can figure that out. 1 second. You guys are able to see that? I hope. So, anyway, my name is Vina Lustado. I'm the founder of Soul House Design, and I have with me Wade, who is going to moderate the comments on this chat forum so that if you have any questions along the way, he would be able to take a look at it and let me know if I can answer the questions while I'm doing the presentation or whatnot. But what I'm going to do is try to give a presentation for about 15 minutes and then hopefully have enough time for you guys to give questions that I can answer. So if you want to go ahead and put it on the chat, I can answer it towards the end of the presentation. Or if there seems to be a lot of questions of the same thing throughout the presentation that pertains to a specific slide or whatnot, Wade can tell me what those questions are and he can just interrupt me and I can answer the question. So yeah, feel free to go ahead and use the chat for that. So my presentation is about how to design your own tiny home, because I've done this for a lot of people since I had built and designed my own tiny house. I've done a lot of custom design depending on the person's needs. And so I've seen a lot of ways to do tiny house designs that I wanted to share with you. This one is photos of my own tiny house that I lived and built. I built it back in 2012 and took a year. And basically, I think most of you have seen this before, but it's gone through transitions with one tiny house that I started with, and then I did an office space, which is kind of this smaller unit. And I think you can see my cursor, right? Okay, so these two units is consisting of a deck that joins the two to create sort of an outdoor space that's kind of outdoor living. So I did my tiny house and my tiny office pretty much on the same property in two different locations. So what I wanted to do is talk about kind of the development of the floor plan that I had so that there is an efficient way of using space, because every single inch counts in a tiny house floor plan. So I just wanted to discuss how to develop a floor plan that's really compact and functional. Usually what I do is start off with the circulation, which is the pathway from one end of the house to the other. So the diagram that I usually have is a very efficient way to move from one room to another, or from one end of the space to another. So the main entry, I usually have a big double door so that there's a lot of light coming into the space, south facing. So you have the maximum amount of light with shading in the front for passive solar gain during the summer or during the winter, but then during the summer, you have a shade structure above so that you don't have direct light coming in. But the efficient use of the space really depends on how your circulation patterns work. So right now, it's going into the space and going directly in the same line from the great room to the kitchen, where it's a double loaded corridor. You have the kitchen kind of on the left side here. And here I have also a wardrobe closet, which maximizes the space without having to have a closet, let's say, in the bedroom loft up here. And then at the very end is my bathroom, which is a very efficient bathroom because this is only, the width is, let's see, 7.5 feet wide. And this width for the bathroom is 3 feet. So it's probably the most compact bathroom I had ever seen before I had done my own tiny house. I had the toilet, on the right side, the sink right off of the window, and then a shower. So basically, where you stand in front of the sink, you can access every single point in the bathroom. So that's what makes it really efficient. And then also there's a pocket door that doesn't require any additional square footage for the swing of the door. So you can just slide it in and out so that you can actually use this space. So this is a very compact floor plan. It's 20 feet long by 8.5 feet wide on the exterior. It's actually less than 8.5 feet because the wheel well is 8.5 feet. So the width of this is about 8 feet from exterior to exterior corner. And then above that is my loft bedroom, which is a very cozy, it's not a full height, obviously, because there's a gable roof above, but I was able to put a queen size bed or a double size bed here with storage on the other side of the bed. So I was able to fit, little nooks and crannies for clothing, t-shirts and whatnot back here. So if you were to look at some photos here, this is kind of, the interior space with the exterior doors allowing a lot of light in. And then I managed to have 2 loft spaces towards the front and then the loft space in the back for the bedroom. So that's the design of my tiny house. Another design that I did for a client who they were a couple, and one of them was a 6'2" guy who needed space definitely to clear his head underneath the loft and in the bathroom. So this is a really interesting challenge, like for the bathroom. Let's say this is similar to kind of the circulation pattern of my tiny house. You enter through the front, and then it's a very efficient use of space from one end to another with double loaded functions for the kitchen. And then again, at the end is the bathroom. And in this case, we actually have an office space for him because he was going to work full time in the tiny house. And so we were able to accommodate an office on the lower level. And then above that is a loft also for his partner, who is only 5 foot, I believe. I don't think she's taller than 5 feet. So she was able to have her office space in the loft sitting up with a little, futon couch and a little table here. So both of them were able to work full time in this tiny house. and there were two of them. And as a matter of fact, they still live there together, happily together, I think even with their cat, him being 6'3" or 6'2" and her being 5 foot tall. So I was very impressed to know that she's still living there with her partner. I think it's been at least 5 years now. And it's a similar situation where the bedroom loft is on this side and storage on this side. An interesting thing about this design is the stairs, because this is actually only 26 feet long. And again, 8.5 feet wide. So there wasn't much, square footage to build off of, because we wanted to make it very compact for the travel of the tiny house to their final location. They have their tiny house in Santa Barbara, which is just north of Ventura, where I live. And they had a lot of hills to climb up with the tiny house on the travel trailer. So they couldn't make it too long to, go up on the curves on the steep slope. So that's 26 feet long by 8.5 feet wide. And of course, there's a circular window that I always incorporate in pretty much all of my designs. But here, I designed a set of stairs that was not really seen before. These basically were storage cabinets with alternating treads. So you can see the little hole on each cabinet face that is storage. Like this is for hanging, and these are just like for books and things like that. But each of these cabinet fronts have storage behind it. So if you see, this is the steps. So I only took up like 3.5 feet by 2 feet for the steps to go up to the loft here. And so that was super compact. So these are things that, you can think about to maximize every square inch of the space. What I've done before also are like toe kicks in the cabinetry. Usually there's a 4-inch toe kick below the base cabinet. And Dee Williams did this before. She was the one who I think pioneered that idea, where you can have toe kicks underneath the cabinet that becomes a drawer that slides out. And I've done that. And I put tools like hammers and measuring tapes in that small little drawer, and it's been very useful. So those are some of the other tricks. That's the lighthouse. And this is the section of the lighthouse where you have that steps again. And then we have the kitchen area here and the shower. The shower was only about 6'6" because he's 6'3" or 6'2", and we needed to have the shower head come up from above. And so the joists in the loft were 2x4s, and we minimized, the plywood and all the finishes so that he can maximize the height in that shower. And also the loft is 4'6", because of course, when he climbs up the steps, he needs to have a decent headroom when he goes up there. So again, you have the two lofts here, a smaller loft for her office on this side and a bigger loft for their bed on this side. And then his office is just directly below that. Let's see, I'm almost within the 15-minute mark that I had a goal for myself. So I'll try to wrap this up. And one of my latest designs is a tiny house prefab ADU, which has been built. It's a built unit in the factory, and it was permitted a couple years ago. I'm sorry, these slides are not coming out crisp, but this is located in Santa Paula. It's the main dwelling off of the street, and then the ADU obviously is located at the back. And this is, I think it's 26 feet long by 10.5 feet wide. So it's a large property that allows for a lot of outdoor space. So basically, this is the exterior with a lot of gray water and sustainable features on the landscaping, native tolerant plants. But I wanted to talk about the floor plan, where again, it's all about getting a really efficient system for circulation around all the rooms. So this one again is the same concept with having big double doors off of the great room. And the circulation to access each room is very efficient all along the sides. And again, incorporating pocket doors so that there's no swinging of the door that's occupying more square footage in the space. This is the great room. So I was able to fit a pretty good size kitchen with the induction stove, a sink that's pretty amazing because it also has a dishwasher. And I have a sofa that's built in with storage below. That's key because you need to maximize the storage. And then also the bathroom was spacious. I was really surprised how it turned out. It's only 4 feet long or 4 feet deep by about 8.5 feet long. But it felt really spacious when I went into the unit for the first time. And I'll show you some photos. And the bedroom is very compact. There is a platform for storage again below the bed. And there's also storage behind here. And you can put additional storage here. So basically, some photos of the interior. Looks like this. Here's the great room with the built-in couch. And then the kitchen feels really spacious because again, this is all open and you can have a table here. This is a multifunctional table that can go up and down as a dining table and then a coffee table that is at this level. So it can function 2 different needs. Yeah, it's an L-shaped kitchen with an induction stove and an amazing sink that also functions as a dishwasher, and there is a small refrigerator here. And there's lofts again on both sides above the bathroom here and above the bedroom. And this is more images of the interior with the bathroom. She chose a really a different color tile to kind of pop. And I just have a glass panel here. So again, there's no swinging of the doors into the bathroom, and it contains all the water in the shower. It works quite well for her, but it allows it to feel really open. An open floor plan as much as possible is really, really important for designing tiny spaces. And the bedroom here has storage next to the bed, more shelving above. And here's again the circular mirror that I incorporate, or circular window that I incorporate in a lot of my designs. Yeah, so that's kind of an overview of some of the design elements to consider. And this tiny house has a footprint of 26 to 27 feet by 10 foot wide. And it's actually been built several times already for my clients who have needed to put an ADU on their property to rent it out as additional offset for their mortgage. And they've modified it minimally, let's say like with a shed roof, or made it a few feet bigger in either direction. And so I found that it really works for a lot of people to have an additional structure on their property as another source of income. And the latest project I have right now is with the city of Agoura Hills, where they want to develop a tiny house community with pretty much the same floor plan. There's 11 units on the property, and 9 of them will be based on the small tiny house prefab that I just showed you, and then 2 of them will be slightly bigger at 500 square feet. So again, an example of what can be done with a really small footprint and how it could be used for a lot of different properties and parcels. So the last thing I wanted to say was, if you're interested in working with me to get a custom tiny house design done, I'm offering 10% off discount for my plans to work with you on a custom design. And you can just put it in the chat if you're interested. I can send you an email with the details, and Wade will be able to take down your email and get that. I can keep that list so I can keep track of it. So let's see, I have 10 minutes. If you don't have any other questions, comments, let's see. I'm just gonna look at the chat if there's anything.
Someone's asking if this is on this as far as the time.
There's a question about if this is on wheels on the prefab or like any of my structures can be on wheels. This prefab was built in a factory. And so it fits the dimensions of a travel trailer because it's 10 feet wide. It's not, the 8.5 foot traditional travel trailer. You would need to get an additional permit for a wider load, but it's a really simple one. It's not the one that requires patrol cars following you. I think it's just an additional paperwork that you sign with like DMV or Department of Transportation to get the additional permit, and it doesn't cost very much. So I always advise to design with a wider width over 8.5 feet because it's amazing how much more you gain in just 1.5 feet. It makes a world of difference. Like with the width of the great room, the living room, the kitchen, the bedroom. So yeah, that's I think.
That answers that. No other questions yet. There's another question. What should design or plan services cost? And what should you expect for that?
Okay, so the next question was the cost for my design services. And I think there's different levels. I provide my tiny house designs based on the lighthouse and my own tiny house, which is on my website. So that is just a plan that you can download on my website, venustinyhouse.com plans. So that's one that you can just download for, I forgot the different prices. It's about 300 or 350 for those plans that I've already made. But for custom plans, there are 2 levels. One level is, I think, $995. If you just want a floor plan and exterior elevations that have the windows, the doors basically mapped out on AutoCAD with the dimensions. But if you want an electrical plan, a lighting plan, and interior elevations, I think that's at $1,495 or $1,395. There's 2 levels, but you can look it up in my website under Venus Tiny House Plans, custom plans. And then you can send me an email also if you have any more questions on that, because I have a whole write-up on the process on how it works, because usually I go step by step on the process with doing a floor plan first and have you approve it. And then we move forward with the elevations that shows the doors and the windows on the exterior. And then you approve that. And then I start doing the electrical plan with the lighting plan so that it's a layered process so that I know that you're approving each part of it before we move forward.
Next question is asking about the property in Agora and what the zoning is for.
Yeah, the property in Agora is city owned. And it's 3 parcels. So they're putting it together so that we can develop this project. The zoning for it's an overlay zone that because the city owns it for affordable housing. It's obviously, maybe it is residential. But it's an overlay zone. So we're going to develop it for multi-family housing, and we have to kind of verify all the different requirements for affordable housing guidelines, and we just presented it to the community a month ago in February. And we are trying to move forward with a revision that has the comments from the communities taken into consideration. But it's going to be a long process just because it's a city project and we really have to, comply with all the regulations for affordable housing. And so we're kind of changing the zoning for this affordable housing project. I hope that answers the question.
Someone says that they're wondering about the entrance area and that they don't see anything for coats and shoes. And I
Oh,
believe that might be for the tiny home on wheels.
okay, good question. So the next question is regarding like the tiny homes on wheels. What do I do for, closets, for wardrobe closets? For this one, which is my own tiny home, off of the entry, there's a desk here, and below that is this kind of pop out on the exterior. And I actually built out some open shelving below this so I can put my shoes here. It was really convenient because it's right off of the entry. And then on this side where the kitchen is located, there's a wardrobe cabinet that's full height next to the stove. So there's a countertop here and a full height wardrobe here below the loft. And then inside the Lighthouse tiny house, this is designed for my client, and let's see, they didn't request for a full height wardrobe. I mean, this is supposed to be a pantry, this full height cabinet. I think they just used it for a pantry, but they didn't request for a full height cabinet. They just have wardrobe storage by their bedroom loft upstairs. So I think they just go upstairs to store their clothes. But they've been living in it for at least 5 years and they've been happy. So apparently it hasn't been an issue.
I'm asking how heavy the lighthouse is.
Okay, next question is the lighthouse weight. So this one, it might be like 12,000 pounds because I know the rating on the trailer was 14,000 GVWR, gross something weight. So it was definitely below that. It was maybe 12 to 14,000. We intentionally made all the kitchen items be light, like there's no stone, it's butcher block. The heaviest thing was probably the refrigerator. And the built-in items were taken out of the unit when it was being traveled, except, yeah, like the sofa was not built in, the cabinets were built in, but all the appliances were taken out before I traveled. So it was, I would say, like 12,000 pounds. Okay, well, I only have a few minutes left, so it's time to wrap up. Thanks so much, everyone, for having me. And let me know if you have any questions. And thanks again to everyone at tinyhouse.com. Zach and Jel, you've been great. I really appreciate you having me on the program.
Hey, Vina. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for jumping in here and giving us a thorough explanation of tiny house design and everything. It's been very impactful and cool to see kind of exactly your thoughts that went behind the design aspect of it. So very cool.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, yeah, as always, we always appreciate your time jumping on here and sharing all of your experience that you have and whatnot. And as Vina was saying, you guys can find her at her website that she put up there. Make sure to check her out. Vina, you can drop in your website again into the chat if you'd like. And yes, super huge thank you for jumping on here today.
Awesome. You guys have fun. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate it.